Wolves, Canis lupus, both overly despised and overly admired by humans. They're one of the most famous and also controversial animals on the planet, and I'm going to tell you all about them. Wolves are a part of the family Canidae alongside dogs, jackals, and foxes, to name a few. Wolves are differentiated from others in this family by their habitat, pack structure, and biology. Wolves are noted for their long tail, more rounded ears and muzzle, and shorter torso in comparison to other canines. Wolves usually have mottled fur, although some have totally white fur, particularly in winter, like the Arctic wolf, or black fur, which is down to mutation. Wolves also have insanely strong teeth for crushing bone, making them one of the best of any carnivore. However, hyenas completely win this one. If you want to differentiate females from males, besides doing it that way, females are typically shorter and have narrower features, but the other way is probably the easiest one. Also, fun fact, wolves aren't particularly massive. There are actually numerous large dog breeds that completely tower over them. Wolves are usually found solely in the northern hemisphere, in forests, grasslands, deserts and mountains. There's really no terrain that's off limits, except maybe rainforests? Never mind. Yes, sea wolves are a thing. Rather than hunting like typical grey wolves, they instead swim and catch fish off the Pacific coast of Canada. Speaking of Canada, the Arctic wolf lives in the far north and travels around islands via the frozen ice. This insane level of adaptation is what has made them so successful. Speaking of success, a wolf pack's territory can range from a modest 80 square miles to a huge 1,000 square miles. All that just from peeing in the right places. And yes, they will travel that span as well. Some wolves have been recorded travelling up to 30 miles within a single day. So, sea wolves eat fish, but what do land wolves eat? Herbivores, especially hooved ones like deer and bison. And if they really feel like facing God, they might challenge a moose. And if they really feel like challenging God, then they'll take livestock. But we'll talk about that in more detail later on. As you probably already know, wolves hunt in packs, working together to take down these animals that are much bigger than they are. They communicate to each other using vocalization and body language. You may also want to know that wolves, in extremely dire conditions, will cannibalize dead and weak members of their pack. Also, and this is important, wolves do not howl at the moon. They're simply just nocturnal and love to howl a lot. That is literally it. They do love howling at other things though. Let's talk family now, and I'm going to start by destroying the hopes and dreams of furry fanfic writers and insecure men everywhere. The concept of alphas among wolves does not exist, or at least not in the way many people seem to think. And betas and omegas don't exist at all scientifically. You see, alpha is just a phrase used to describe the leaders or parents of a pack, and it was coined only by observing wolves in captivity, not in the wild. A pack is simply just two parents and all of their offspring, so essentially just a family. Sometimes these offspring leave to start their own pack with an outside mate. So, yeah, sorry, but if you call yourself an alpha, you are essentially just calling yourself a parent. With that being said, let's look at lone wolves, another beloved writing trope. Lone wolves are a real phenomenon. You see, pack structures vary with wolves, and some packs only stay together for certain times of the year, usually winter of course. During the other months, the wolves will wander off either alone or in pairs and simply just hunt and live. The other examples of lone wolves are a bit more sad, and that is usually when a wolf has rabies. In fact, when wolf attacks occur on humans, it's usually down to the wolf being rabid, and the wolf is often on its own. At the end of the day though, being in a pack is integral for a wolf's individual survival. If a group splinters, then every wolf involved will be at a higher risk. Wolf packs have an average of 8 members, a typical nuclear family, but some packs have been seen consisting of multiple families, adding up to over 40 wolves. Wolves are monogamous and will mate for life, but if a mate dies, the widow will find a replacement very quickly. Pups will venture outside to hunt properly at only 3 weeks old, but will stay with their parents from anywhere from 10 to 15 months. Offspring will usually leave either to pursue another wolf outside of the pack, or sometimes even due to competition from their siblings and parents. One thing that may go against the fanfics is that wolf packs will pretty much never adopt a stray or loner into their pack. This has only been seen on extremely rare occasions, either within captivity with human influence, or with abandoned pups in the wild. However, despite the tight-knit families, wolves are not at all weirdos about it. In 2019, in a national park in Michigan, scientists followed a pack of wolves that had resorted to inbreeding due to the threat of local extinction. As a result of this, scientists found that these inbred wolves had higher rates of depression compared to average, less inbred wolves. So yes, wolves are not from Alabama and will actively avoid inbreeding most of the time. Now let's talk evolution in society. As of the moment, there are definitively two species of wolf, the grey wolf and the Ethiopian wolf. This video, however, focuses on the grey wolf, Canis lupus. It's also important to mention that there is a lot of debate as to whether the rarer red wolf is its own species or simply a subspecies of grey wolf. One thing you'll discover is that there is a lot of scientific debate around wolves. Like I said, they are controversial animals. Grey wolves are by far the most popular species anyway, and are usually what you would picture if you imagined a wolf. It's common knowledge that wolves are the ancestors of our dogs, but the question that's raised a lot is, how do we get from this to this? All you need to know as of now is the phrase genetic mutations. Another historical fact about the wolf is the idea that it descends from the dire wolf. No, not the dire wolf of Game of Thrones fame, the dire wolf. A large wolf-like carnivore from 13,000 years ago that fed on ground sloths and other huge creatures from the Pleistocene period. It's believed that they certainly looked and behaved similar to wolves and other canines we see today. However, as of 2020, scientists discovered that the dire wolf is actually more closely related to jackals instead of the grey wolf. So yeah, sorry Game of Thrones fans. And sorry to those of you who thought jackals were wolves, because they aren't. Neither are dingoes or coyotes. They are related though, of course, being in the family Canidae. As I mentioned at the start, wolves are very controversial and get quite a bit of bad rep. Historically, as much as wolves were admired, particularly by tribal folk, they were also greatly feared and despised. From being the representation of evil and greed in folk tales and scriptures, to being hunted to extinction in certain places for killing livestock, they've never really been given much of a chance to show their better side. Wolves have been extinct in the UK and Ireland since the 1700s due to overhunting caused by fear and farmers. Wolves also almost went extinct in the US, particularly around Yellowstone in the 1930s. This time mainly due to farmers, and had to be reintroduced in the 1990s. The wolf debate is still a hot one in the USA today. On one hand, farmers believe they have the right to defend their livestock and livelihoods, but on the other hand, wolves need protection to avoid another incident like the 30s occurring, and even killing one wolf in a pack can put all the others at high risk. It kinda sucks for them. What sucks more, however, is that wolves aren't just getting iced by humans. Despite being successful predators themselves, wolves aren't the only predators, and sadly, when a wolf goes up against a grizzly bear, the bear is winning. There's even been records of wolves being caught out by coyotes and polar bears. In Russia, because, of course, there's been at least 4 reports of wolf deaths caused by Siberian tigers, and it's even believed that these tigers have caused certain localized extinctions throughout Russia. So, yeah, there's a fun one to end on. All in all, wolves are pretty cool, but also pretty misunderstood. If you have wolves in your local area, maybe look into how you can help them out a bit. And if you enjoyed this video, feel free to subscribe or leave a recommendation down below for an animal you'd like me to talk about in the future.